And we're going to talk about auctions and buying property at auction and what are the best tips for you to take on board based on my experience and observation, having attended various auctions up and down the country. So first of all, why do people go to an auction? I mean, why on earth would you want to buy a property at an auction? Well, it's very simple. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's a definitive transaction. In other words, you have a certain date, which is 28 days in the UK, where you would exchange contracts upon the fall of the gavel and by the auctioneer. You would pay 10% of the deposit, which would be on the evening of the auction, and then you would have 28 days in which you'd complete the sale on the property, meaning the fact you'd have the keys within a month of actually attending the auction. Now, there's various different techniques and tips, and all I'm going to share with you is just an insight, which is a guide. I mean, you can do whatever you want with the information that I'll share with you. But having said that, if you do take it on board, even 10% of what I'll share with you, it will certainly add value to you the next time you approach an auction and look to even consider bidding. So, first of all, it's very important to understand why do people sell the properties at auction. I mean, there's various reasons which we won't go into right now, but what you'll find, certainly only 10% of repossessions or repos tend to go into auction. 90%, however, go through the routes of estate agents. In other words, when you turn up to an auction, it's not necessarily repos that you're going to see on the actual listings of the sale lots. There are other properties as well, and there are various reasons why people may consider, or for example, companies may consider putting corporate sales through an auction house. So bear in mind, only 10% will go through this method. The other option could be as well, many solicitors do have probate where they do put properties into auction with a local auctioneer, or in many instances through a national auction house. So you've just got to choose very carefully the property that you're looking to buy, and also the reason why you're buying it. So make sure you have an exit strategy. Write down the reason why you're going to buy, and if things go to pot, what will you do with this house? Because you've got to bear in mind, there are many people who are in that room, and it's the competitive nature that will dictate the ceiling price as far as the property is concerned. And that's not dictated by what the auctioneer starts a reserve at, it's what the price will finish at where they're concerned. And if it doesn't meet the reserve, at the end of the day, I will share with you later on what you can do. So number one, it makes sure that you have an exit strategy and are certain and satisfied as to what you're going to do upon buying that property. So it could be the fact that you're going to live there yourself with your family, or you're going to buy it to renovate and let out as a landlord, or you may even consider buying and trading and flipping at a profit. Whichever approach you choose, make sure you've done at least your research if it's out of your area, and speak to an agent who's going to be marketing the property. But at the same time, bear in mind, they are only marketing the property to sell. So do consider speaking to a letting agent to find out if you're looking to let the property, what the rentals are in the area. But what you can also do as well, you can ascertain whether there is enough potential to improve the property. As you'll find, many of these properties that are in the sale lots, they're either being sold because either somebody's passed away or deceased estate. So it may have a perfectly usable kitchen, but it may be shabby chic furnishing internally, and it may just require renovating and remodelling. So do find out certainly your costings in terms of what it will cost to remodel, renovate, if it means that you're having to rewire, replumb, change your windows, etc. Write this down and just do a summary, so at least you know what your costs are going to be. Because I certainly assure you from my own experience, having dealt with purchasing properties and also with various clients who I've assisted over the years, what you will find, it's a recipe where you will either succeed or you will fail. But if you follow a system by duplicating those who've had success and follow the recipe, you will only see the results that will have an impact on your bottom line where your financial returns are concerned. So do pick your property carefully, but also you may choose, and it's something which I always say is mandatory when looking to buy an auction, never buy blind. always make sure you do your due diligence, because it would be foolish, as it will and can cost you literally tens and thousands of pounds from this mistake if you don't do your research. So you've already done your due diligence, you've done your research, and also you may have spoken to one or two letting agents. Then what happens? Well, make sure you at least have either what's called a joint venture partner. Could be a family member, a friend who's going to assist you financially to purchase that property in the auction. May you be successful, or, which is absolutely fundamental from a purchasing point of view, have your finance ready. In other words, if you're going to an auction to buy, make sure at least you've got your monies and your funds ready, so you've got access to it. So in other words, be proactive rather than reactive. Once that hammer goes down, bear in mind, you're then committing and have 28 days to buy this house. So once you've established you've got the access and you've got the finance, there are some properties you will bid at auction which can be mortgageable. But having said that, once you've got your research conducted and you're satisfied and you've done your due diligence, you understand the property and the legal pack which you can obtain, where some of the agents may charge you in order to download it or access a copy from their office. But by doing that, at least you've gone through the various stages in carrying out your research, and just giving you peace of mind that when you go into the auction and put that bid, at least you feel certain that you're not buying a property which may have structural subsidence, or it may be in an area where there is coal mining, or even Japanese knotweed, where if you're ever looking to refinance, it's not going to delay or prolong the process for you to actually pull your equity out and use, for maybe buying other properties or for your own personal goals that you may have. So it's very important to, once you've done your due diligence and you've conducted various reports, whether it's a structural report you do or just an independent evaluation from one of the local independent agents, you will get that peace of mind. But the last thing you want to do is buy a bad rotten apple which you may struggle to sell later on, or even obtain a mortgage. So do ensure you do your research correctly. Once you've established that, do certainly, and you've had a good look around the property, you've made notes, and you've got a list and a clear, concise plan as to what you're going to do with it, certainly introduce yourself on the night of the auction to the auctioneer if you don't get the opportunity to do it beforehand. Now, if the property you're actually bidding is out of your area, there are many people throughout the country, and it is completely normal these days where you'll put in a proxy or a telephone bid, and you'll communicate through the auctioneer beforehand, where they will have a certain proportion of funds kept in the account to show the commitment on the night of the auction where you will be bidding. But what this allows you to, especially if you're quite emotional, where buying a property sometimes, as you will find in a room, people can certainly go way above what they imagine paying when the emotions are concerned, particularly with partners when they turn to each other, nudge them, and before you know it, that £500 extra bid can turn into thousands of pounds. From where the auctioneer is concerned, these auctioneers are trained, and they have the skills to ensure they maximise the best interest and the best possible